Inside the royal palace, sunlight cuts through the tall marble arches. Ministers wait in silence, white robes still and faces set. They're waiting for King Faisal, the man who is reshaping Saudi Arabia. Cameras from Saudi television stand ready around the hall, recording another morning of formal meetings inside the royal court. Faisal enters slowly, thin, calm, and wrapped in simple white cloth. He's one of the richest men alive, yet the least decorated. Nothing about him is loud, not like the new generation of princes who will rise in the years to come. Across the room, a delegation from Kuwait is waiting. They've come to discuss oil, the black river that has turned sand into wealth and pushed the Saudi kingdom into a fast and unfamiliar future. A figure steps forward, a young man in the same white robes as the king, one of the thousands of young princes inside the vast house of Saud. He leans in as Faisal approaches. A familiar greeting, nothing unusual. But then, two shots break the air. The king collapses. Blood spreads across the marble floor. The room explodes into movement. But the young prince who fired the gun does not run. He stands completely still while the guard sees him. The camera...
Well, this is a test. This is a test. Okay.
of Saudi national television continue to film. Hello, my friend. I'm Aslan Pahari, and today on Assassins, the killing of King Faisal of Saudi Arabia. When someone kills a king, you might assume that the assassin wants to sit on the throne. But that's not the case here. He wasn't chasing political power. So what did he want to achieve? And why did he want it so badly he was willing to kill the king for it? To understand, we need to go back to a moment that begins not with a gun, but with a television screen. 10 years before the assassination, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is holding its breath. It's July 1965. The country is launching its first national TV station. Television has arrived late to the Desert Kingdom. In most of the world, it's now something ordinary and uncontroversial. But in Saudi Arabia, it's something else entirely. To many viewers, it feels radical and unsafe. The first broadcast begins with Quran recitation. The station has only a few hours of content each day, but soon there'll be a lot more. Shows bringing the outside world into Saudi homes. News from Cairo, music from Beirut, cartoons from America. New images, new voices. Some Saudis are curious. Some are delighted. Others are outraged. For many conservatives, television feels like an intrusion, a foreign presence appearing inside the home without permission, a challenge to the moral structure that they believe holds the kingdom together. It only takes 3 months for conservative anger to reach a breaking point. A large protest forms outside the Riyadh broadcast building. It's led by a strict religious faction that believes the kingdom is allowing modern influences to sway it from its course. Among the protesters stands another young prince, a critic from within the House of Saud itself, Prince Khalid bin Musaid. Deeply religious, fiercely principled, and convinced that television is a sin, an attack on the kingdom's Islamic identity. The protests grow tense. Chants rise, rocks are thrown. Guards push forward. Shots are fired by the authorities. Prince Khalid falls. His death is immediate and devastating. His conservative family blames the modernization they believe took their son. They believe the king allowed an intrusion into the sacred. The protests end, but the cameras keep rolling. Television is here to stay. The prince's death settles heavily across the kingdom. Resentment forms, memory hardens, a sense of injustice lingers. Among those left behind is a younger brother, quiet, watching, carrying a wound that the world does not see. A wound that will one day walk into a palace and pull a trigger. King Faisal might have been the one to bring television to Saudi Arabia, but that's only one part of his story. To understand why he was killed, we must understand the man and the path he walked. Faisal was born in 1906, at a time when Saudi Arabia did not yet exist. Arabia was a land of deserts, tribes, rival chiefs, and long wars. His father was Abdulaziz ibn Saud, the warrior who unified the Arabian Peninsula by force. His mother came from a respected family of Wahhabi scholars, guardians of strict Islamic law. Faisal grew up between discipline and devotion. He slept on the floor, he memorized the Quran, he ate little and spoke with restraint. He learned to listen more than he talked. At the age of 13, he was sent to London on behalf of his father, the king. He was the first Saudi royal to ever make the journey. He saw a world that was loud, fast, and industrial. Trains, factories, telephones, life was moving at a faster pace than it did in the desert. He returned home certain of one thing. The world was changing quickly, and Saudi Arabia needed to keep up or be left behind. But it needed to do so without losing its faith. Years passed, and then, with the discovery of oil, everything changed overnight. Princes bought cars, palaces, chandeliers, and foreign tutors. The kingdom grew noisy with money, and culture shifted faster than people could keep up. But Prince Faisal doesn't get swept up in this newfound excess. He continues to live simply. In a small house near the palace, he carries prayer beads and avoids showy displays of wealth. In 1964, Faisal becomes king after his brother Saud was removed for mismanaging the kingdom's finances.
Get
Faisal
out of
now
here.
stands at the helm of a divided nation. Faisal now stands at the helm of the
Wait a
kingdom's
minute.
finances.
He's funny, honestly. The King Faisal's brother. He looks like a... what do you call it? I don't know. Grasshopper or something.
Faisal now stands at the helm of a divided nation. On one side, ancient faith, unchanged and absolute. On the other, modernity and wealth, powerful and impossible to avoid. Faisal believes he can unite both worlds. He believes he can move the nation forward while preserving its soul. But balance is difficult, and change is never clean. When he introduces television, a prince dies in protest. That death is not forgotten. it doesn't soften. It lingers in the palace like a shadow. And a young Saudi prince, the brother of the man who died, carries that shadow within him wherever he goes. His name is Prince Faisal bin Musaid. Growing up, this young royal is shaped by the loss of his older brother, Khalid, killed during the television protest shot by police. No one openly blames the king, but the family does not forget. As he grows older, the young prince carries questions that refuse to fade. Why did his brother die for a screen? Why did the king push change faster than some could accept? He felt faith on one side and anger on the other, but something else as well, a confusion about the world he lived in. So he left Saudi Arabia and traveled to the United States to study, and walked into a life completely different from the one he knew. America was everything Arabia was not: fast, free, and loud. He lived in Colorado, then in California. He studied political science, sometimes, and he was an average student. A life of parties, bars, and music. Long hair and denim jackets. A world where no one cared about the House of Sound. He dated an American woman named Christine. Years later, investigators questioned her. She remembered him as charming, restless, and unsure. But the freedom he found didn't seem to settle his heart. In America, you saw people choosing their own identity. In Saudi Arabia, identity was something given to you, and the difference stayed with him. When he returned home, everything felt smaller. The air felt heavier, faith felt stricter, and the king was moving the country even further into modern life. He didn't fit in America. He didn't fit in Arabia. He lived between two worlds and belonged to neither. His brother's death still lived in the The new television stations kept broadcasting. The king kept changing. The prince, caught between grief and change, began turning memory into purpose. Not political purpose, not ideological purpose, something quieter and a little more personal.
My man or
a
woman?
settling of accounts. And soon, these two worlds, of the prince and the king, would meet again in a bright hall under a high white ceiling. For a moment after the shots ring out, the palace hall does not move. No one understands what's happened. The silence breaks all at once. Guards rush forward and seize the young prince. Diplomats shout. Ministers stumble backwards in shock. The cameras from Saudi national television continue recording, capturing the moment the path of the kingdom shifts forever. King Faisal is carried out and rushed to the hospital. Doctors work quickly, but the wounds are too severe. He dies within minutes. The assassination has been filmed by the Saudi TV crew, though the footage will never be shown publicly. Outside the palace, news spreads like a shockwave. Shops close, and streets empty. Saudi state television interrupts its programming and begins reciting the Quran. Viewers don't need an official statement. They know what that means. Later, the royal court confirms the death of King Faisal. International reports claim that the assassin is mentally unstable. Neighbors whisper the same thing. The assassin, Prince Faisal bin Musaid, is taken into custody. The royal family faces a painful problem. If they declare him insane, he cannot be executed. If they declare him sane, the House of Saud must publicly execute one of its own. Either path breaks something. Doctors evaluate him for weeks, and scholars ask him about intention and sin. Investigators search for conspiracies or foreign influence. They find nothing. They interview his former girlfriend from America. She describes a young man troubled by identity and belonging, but not insane. He was not delusional, not disconnected from reality. Saudi law is clear on this. If he knew what he was doing, if he acted with intention, he will face execution. When the judgment is announced, there's no celebration, no public joy. 3 months after the assassination of King Faisal, Prince Faisal bin Musaid is executed in a public square in Riyadh on June 18th, 1975.
Bye, bitch.
Thank you for watching, my friend. What's another royal assassination you want me to cover?
Great documentary. Okay.
A little while ago, this video of a Saudi prince denouncing Israeli occupation went viral.
They profess that they want to be friends with Saudi Arabia. And yet, all Israeli governments are the last of the Western colonizing powers of the Middle East.
His name is Prince Turki Al Faisal. He's the 7th child and youngest son of this guy, King Faisal bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Vastly popular amongst his people and across the Arab and Muslim world, King Faisal abolished slavery from Saudi Arabia, implemented a policy of modernization and reform, and was fiercely pro-Palestinian, publicly declaring his opposition to Zionism.
Oh yeah. True king. Okay, just a second here.
And Israel's occupation of Palestine. He was also in support of a unified pan-Muslim foreign policy. Faisal is perhaps best remembered for leading the 1973 oil embargo, crippling Western economies over their support of Israel's war efforts.
Oh yeah.
But his legendary status as King of Saudi Arabia and custodian of the 2 holy mosques was cut short after being assassinated by his own nephew in 1970.
Son of a bitch.
وهذا ما لا يمكن أن نقبله أو نرضى عنه ولو أجمع العرب جميعا على أن يرضوا بوجود إسرائيل وبتقسيم فلسطين فلن ندخل معهم في هذا الاتفاق.
Let's do that again. Let's do that shit
Faisal
again.
was born in Saudi Arabia.
Wait, man, wait.
Assassinated by his own nephew in 1975.
Give me that.
الأمم المتحدة فلنقبل بتقسيم فلسطين وهذا ما لا يمكن أن نقبله أو نرضى عنه ولو أجمع العرب جميعا على أن يرضوا بوجود إسرائيل وبتقسيم فلسطين فلن ندخل معهم في هذا الاتفاق.
This makes my heart warm. Makes me feel fuzzy.
Faisal was born in Saudi Arabia's capital Riyadh in 1906. He was the third son of King Abdulaziz, the first king of Saudi Arabia. Faisal's mother passed away when he was only 6 months old, so he was raised by his maternal grandparents. At the time, Faisal's generation was raised in an atmosphere that emphasized values of courage and piety. From his early years, he was dragged into political life and governance responsibilities. Faisal became the first Saudi royal to visit England in 1919. He was only 14 years old. Domestically, Faisal was sent to the provinces of Hayl and Asir in 1922. Accompanied by 6,000 troops loyal to the House of Saud, he achieved complete control over these territories. He later became Viceroy of the Hejaz region in 1926. His political ascendance reached the international arena when he became Minister of Foreign Affairs in 1930. For 30 years until 1960, Faisal traveled the world and was consumed by Saudi Arabia's foreign policy, a matter that he personally handled until his death as king. Most notably, Faisal was invited to the US.
Sorry guys, just this aura. I need another dose.
Status as king of Saudi Arabia and
You don't understand how important this is, especially at that time.
custodian of the two holy mosques, was cut short after being
How
assassinated
courageous
by
it
his
is
own nephew
to do
in
this.
1975.
الأمم المتحدة فلنقبل بتقسيم فلسطين وهذا ما لا يمكن أن نقبله أو نرضى عنه ولو أجمع العرب جميعا على أن يرضوا بوجود إسرائيل
This sentence, even if all the Arabs come together
والعرب جميعا على
and
أن
decide
يرضوا
to accept the existence of Israel. This happened 50 years ago. And now we can see it's happening right in front of our eyes. We can see what the Arabs are doing now. Well, this hits different, you know.
وهذا ما لا يمكن أن نقبله أو نرضى عنه ولو أجمع العرب جميعا على أن يرضوا بوجود إسرائيل وبتقسيم فلسطين فلن ندخل معهم في هذا الاتفاق.
A true king. A true king.
Faisal was born in Saudi Arabia's capital Riyadh in 1906. He was the third son of King Abdulaziz, the first king of Saudi Arabia. Faisal's mother passed away when he was only 6 months old, so he was raised by his maternal grandparents. At the time, Faisal's generation was raised in an atmosphere that emphasized values of courage and piety. From his early years, he was dragged into political life and governance responsibilities. Faisal became the first Saudi royal to visit England in 1919. He was only 14 years old. Domestically, Faisal was sent to the provinces of Hayl and Asir in 1922. Accompanied by 6,000 troops loyal to the House of Saud, he achieved complete control over these territories. He later became Viceroy of the Hejaz region in 1926. His political ascendance reached the international arena when he became Minister of Foreign Affairs in 1930. For 30 years until 1960, Faisal traveled.
Okay, just a second, guys. Come on, man. Come on, man. Bro, shut the fuck up. Okay, let's finish this.
The world and was consumed by Saudi Arabia's foreign policy, a matter that he personally handled until his death as king. Most notably, Faisal was invited to the US by former President Roosevelt in 1943. But this was still the start of the journey for Faisal, who was destined for the top spot, the throne. Faisal became Prime Minister and Crown Prince after the ascension of his elder brother King Saud. He issued a decree of the total abolition of slavery in 1962. He founded the country's first television station. He established the Islamic University of Medina, as well as the Muslim World League, a global charity that is still operating today.
See? This is what a future king should be doing. Not being in the Epstein files.
Faisal's profile was rising, and it was time to seize the moment. A power struggle ensued with his brother, and in 1964 he became king of Saudi Arabia and custodian of the two holy mosques.
ولذلك فإنني أدعوكم أيها المواطنون جميعا بأن تكونوا في عون حكومتكم في توجيهها الاتجاه الصحيح، وإذا كانت هناك أي أخطاء أو أي ملاحظات فإن لكل فرد الحق بأن يبديها وأن يوصلها إلى أكبر مرجع وإلى أصغر مرجع، فإن هذا حقكم أنتم وهذا واجبنا تجاهكم وتجاه أي فرد في هذه الأمة.
At home, King Faisal applied impactful reform. His top priority was modernization. He started the nation's first television broadcasts in 1965. He announced the nation's first 5-year economic plan. He established the Ministry of Justice, set in track the current system of administrative regions, and laid the foundations of a modern welfare system. King Faisal also recognized the religious and cultural diversity of the kingdom and prevented religious zealots and radical clerics from attaining positions of power. Instead, he opted to promote a policy of inclusiveness when it came to government appointments and the governance of Saudi Arabia's various regions. But Faisal faced a lot of internal resistance to his modernization attempts. He clashed with religious clerics in matters such as education for women. Faisal was also facing the possibility of being toppled by the threat of a coup inspired by Gaddafi's rise to power in Libya and plots to overthrow him by Egypt's Arab nationalist president, Gamal Abdel Nasser.
Wait a second. What is this?
Of Saudi Arabia's various regions. But Faisal faced a lot of internal resistance to his modernization attempts. He clashed with religious clerics in matters such as education for women. Faisal was also...
So he wanted women to get educated from 65 in Saudi. That's renovation, really. That's
also facing the possibility of being toppled by the threat of a coup inspired by Gaddafi's rise to power in Libya.
Why? What's the relationship between... Why would Gaddafi's rise to power in Libya topple Faisal's? I don't understand.
And plots to overthrow him by Egypt's Arab nationalist president, Gamal Abdel Nasser. And so Faisal built a sophisticated security apparatus to counter this existential threat to the monarchy. In 1969, Faisal ordered the arrest of hundreds of military officers, including some generals who were accused of plotting a coup. But it was Faisal's moves on the global stage in the early 70s that sealed his legacy and put Saudi Arabia on the map, not only across the region, but around the world.
ونحن حينما نصارح بسياستنا لا يهمنا أن يزعل الغرب أو أن يتكدر الشرق، لأن الشرق والغرب اتفقوا على هضم حقوق العرب وسلبهم أراضيهم المقدسة.
Yes.
ولا هضم
Yes, 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 yes. This is very important. Very, very. Listen, listen.
ونحن حينما نصارح بسياستنا لا يهمنا أن يزعل الغرب أو أن يتكدر الشرق، لأن الشرق والغرب اتفقوا على هضم حقوق العرب وسلبهم أراضيهم المقدسة. ولكننا ندافع عن مبدأ ندين به بعد الله وبعد عقيدتنا الإسلامية، بأن العرب يجب أن يدافعوا عن حقوقهم.
who accused the
Guys. I'm starstruck, honestly. I'm fanboying right now.
plotting a coup, but it'd be on the map, not only across the region, but around the world.
ونحن حينما نصارح بسياستنا لا يهمنا أن يزعل الغرب أو أن يتكدر الشرق،
Fuck 'em.
لأن الشرق والغرب اتفقوا على هضم حقوق العرب وسلبهم أراضيهم المقدسة. ولكننا ندافع عن مبدأ ندين به بعد الله وبعد عقيدتنا الإسلامية، بأن العرب يجب أن يدافعوا عن حقوقهم.
King
Yes.
Faisal maintained a close relationship with the US and was deeply anti-communist.
Oh.
However, that did not stop Faisal from pressuring the US's closest ally in the region, Israel. In 1969, the Saudi king organized a conference in Morocco. 25 Muslim nations attended and collectively condemned Israel's 1967 occupation of Arab lands. This conference also established the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Faisal's legendary status as a statesman
Wait.
came after he surprised the Western world in 1970.
What is this? What is this? Okay, this is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. What is this country? Wait. Map of the world. Okay. Okay, so this is wait. Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. Why are they Muslim? Why are they Muslim? Okay, wait. Okay, this is Bangladesh. This is Malaysia, Indonesia, Guyana, Suriname. Okay. We'll check
Faisal's
this
legendary
later.
status as a statesman came after he surprised the Western world in 1973 as the Yom Kippur raged between Syria, Egypt, and Israel. Faisal decided to apply the stick as the Yom Kippur
War.
raged between Syria, Egypt, and Israel. Faisal decided to apply the stick. In a shocking move, he withdrew Saudi oil from world markets in protest over Western support for Israel during the conflict, much to the jubilation of his neighbors Egypt, Syria, and the entire Arab world. The move is considered by economists as the world's first oil shock. It set America into a recession and had long-lasting effects on global politics and the economy. The price of oil quadrupled from about $3 a barrel in 1973 to $12 a barrel by 1974. It was not the US alone who was a target. Canada, Japan, the Netherlands, the
Yeah, they didn't like that for sure.
United Kingdom, Portugal, Rhodesia, and South Africa had also run out of Saudi oil. Faisal had sent a message loud and clear. He was a pro-Palestinian, pro-Arab, and pro-Muslim king.
This is how a king should be. The Arab leaders now, 2026, are a fucking disgrace. Are a fucking disgrace to their ancestors.
Who would not hesitate to shake things up even if it was at the expense of his close ally and superpower, the US. The power of Gulf oil had been felt and drove the world into a standstill.
Look at Sadat. Look at Sadat. Fucking weasel.
Surge of cash that would enter the kingdom after the newly established oil prices created an economic boom for Faisal's Saudi Arabia. The king also used this newly acquired wealth to send aid and subsidies to war-torn Egypt, Syria, and the Palestinian Liberation Organization.
إخواني
Oh yeah.
ماذا ننتظر؟ هل ننتظر الضمير العالمي؟ أين هو الضمير العالمي؟ إن القدس الشريف يناديكم ويستغيث بكم أيها الإخوة لتنقذوه من محنته ومما ابتلي به. فماذا يخيفنا؟ هل نخشى الموت؟
Faisal had made astonishing progress.
This shit had me emotional, guys.
He had modernized this country,
فماذا؟
This shit. Because this applies to today, to now.
يناديكم الضمير العالمي. أين هو الضمير العالمي؟ إن القدس الشريف
ضمير العالمي، الضمير العربي. Where is... As I said, honestly, today's leaders are a fucking disgrace, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Imagine having King Faisal as your ancestor, and you're acting like a fucking gaboon.
يناديكم ويستغيث بكم أيها الإخوة لتنقذوه من محنته ومما ابتلي به. فماذا يخيفنا؟ هل نخشى الموت؟
Faisal had made astonishing progress. He had modernized this country, established the kingdom as an all-important regional and global player, and he had taken a pro-Palestinian stand that would immortalize him in the hearts and minds of hundreds of millions of Arab citizens. But this new chapter in Saudi Arabia's history was cut short in a brutal way. In 1975, while attending a majlis, an event where the king opens up his residence to his citizens to petition him, King Faisal leapt forward to kiss his nephew Prince Faisal bin Mus'ab. The nephew, who had just returned from a long stay in the US, pulled out a pistol and shot him twice. One bullet hit Faisal's chin and the other went through his ear. The king was dead. The prince at first was declared insane, but later a court declared that he was sane and sentenced him to a public execution. There are many conflicting theories as to why King Faisal was killed by his nephew. One theory suggests that this was revenge. Faisal bin Mus'ad's brother, Prince Khalid bin Mus'ad, had been killed in 1966 by a policeman during violent protests that had erupted after King Faisal opened Saudi Arabia's first television station. But for many in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, King Faisal...
Really? Do you really believe that's the reason? What do you think, guys? Do you really think this is the real reason for King Faisal's death? Or is there something else?
Oil embargo was the real cause of his assassination via a Western conspiracy sponsored by the CIA and the Mossad.
Yeah, of course. This is what I mean by something else.
Truth remains ever elusive, but one thing is certain. Faisal's legacy still lives on through the words of his son. But one wonders what Saudi Arabia would look like today, domestically and on the international stage, had Faisal not been killed. Or maybe if those who succeeded him had taken a page from his book. Look like today, domestically, words of his son, elusive. But one thing is certain. Faisal's legacy still lives on through the words of his son. But one wonders what Saudi Arabia would look like today, domestically and on the international stage, had Faisal not been killed. Or maybe if those who succeeded him had taken a page from his book.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a test. Honestly, this is a test. There are 6 watching. Hey guys. Okay, for you 6 guys, let's do something else. Let's do okay, let's do this.
London. The Dorchester Hotel was almost a Saudi Arabian palace in the latter part of the state visit of King Faisal. His Majesty's ambassador in London held a reception there, welcoming the distinguished guests, among them Mr. Arthur Bottomley and Mr. Patrick Gordon-Walker. Representing the opposition, Mr. Quintin Horrock. A very special greeting for 10-year-old Abdul Bari. The boy had been one of the first to welcome the king on his arrival. When King Faisal visited the Islamic Cultural Center, he prayed at the mosque there, but first concerned himself with the secular interests of the center. All the leading Saudi Arabian personalities in London were in attendance, the ambassador, of course, included.
He did this. He did one of these.
At Guildhall, King Faisal was the honoured guest of the Lord Mayor and Corporation of the City of London. The Duchess of Kent, with her husband, represented the royal family. In this historic place, the King was at the very heart of the British financial commonwealth. Everyone in the distinguished company was aware that Britain's assets in Saudi Arabia amount to nearly £2,000 million. In itself, a weighty argument for continued friendship. During his short visit, King Faisal has emphasized that Britain's continued support of South Arabian Federation is essential. Independence, he says, is useless if it cannot be maintained. The City of London added its own tribute to the general appreciation of King Faisal's highly successful state visit.
Okay. أنا call that AUC. Okay, thanks guys for tuning in. This is the first time I do a live. This is a test. We'll fix things. Moving on. See you next time.